welcome to a new video for today. Now this one, it's a bit different than normal because it's not going to be a discussion of the Doctor. It's not an episode of Monsters and Villains. Now this is my favourite episodes from each of the Doctor's era. Now Doctor Who, when you have so many Doctors, you have loads of different episodes, so many different eras of the show. So for this point, I'm talking about my favourite stories from each of the era. So anyone who knows me, some of these episodes might come to a shock for some might not. It depends. If you have been watching my videos and I say, oh, certain episodes are one of my favourite, I do say that for a lot of them. But this is my favourite, my all-time favourite episode of Doctor Who for each of the Doctor. So please sit there, being very, very a cool Who fan with your bow ties, your sonic screwdrivers, Jenny babies or whatever. And let me tell you my favourite stories from each of the Doctor's era. Starting off with the first Doctor. So, for the first Doctor, my all-time favourite episode of the first Doctor is no other than Doctor Who, the Dalek Invasion of Earth. Yeah, that's right, the Dalek Invasion of Earth is my favourite William Hartnell episode. So how can I say to you why this isn't my favourite? Well, it's the second ever Dalek story in Doctor Who. It's the very first story we see a companion leave the Doctor, or basically the Doctor kind of forces this one to leave her for her own happiness. So the Dalek Invasion of Earth is a really, really fantastic kind of Dalek story. I do love it. I absolutely love the whole Daleks like invading the Earth. I love the whole bit of episode 1 where the TARDIS crew literally land. You got a little bit going on where the TARDIS is like a bridge. Susan pulls down a bridge on the TARDIS and the bridge collapses. And then that end of episode 1 we have the Dalek just coming out of the river with the plunger sticking out. And then you got that when I say the word turn and dive in the water now, and then you just see this Dalek and he goes ooh, dun 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 dun. I love it in episode 2 where the Doctor proves that he's more intelligent than the humans, where he plans the escape and then they decide to robotize him. Episode 3, 4 and 5 do drag on a little bit. I do find them a little bit boring in certain parts, but they are a lot better, and it's in my favourite Dalek story. It's mainly I do love the whole scene where Barbara with this woman is pushing this guy in a wheelchair all around London, and then you got the Daleks just literally on the search for him, and then you got that whole kind of dramatic music as well. And then of course that's really, really sad goodbye where the Doctor goes, now Susan, please, I've doubled up the doors, you can't get in. Over the years I've been taking care of you, where you in return have been taking care of me. Nothing but grandfather belong with you. Not any longer, Susan. You're still my grandchild, and you always will be. But no, you're a woman, and I want you to really let you go that line, and you have that. One day I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs, and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine. That is just such a heart-wild speech, and it was done so really brilliantly done by William Hartnell, the first Doctor. So now coming in to the second Doctor. So the second Doctor, yes, the second Doctor. So my my all-time favourite story for William Hartnell. So what is my second favourite Doctor's story? Is it Power of the Daleks? Now we got that animated. Is it the Macra Terror? Is it Fury from the Deep? Is it the Faceless Ones? Unfortunately, no. Now this one, I believe this was the very first ever Doctor Who story of Patrick Troughton we had released on DVD. It could be the second in between the two of them. I actually think this is the first one. And it is no other than Doctor Who, The Tomb of the Cybermen. I adore this story. I actually saw this when I was mainly about 5, 6. My dad brought this. He brought it home, and I remember watching it with him, and I just loved it. I really, really do love it. I've watched it so long. It's been one of my all-time favourite stories for Patrick Troughton. I don't think it will ever change. So, Tomb of the Cybermen, you got the whole group from Earth searching the last remains of the Cybermen, coming to Tevros. to find the tomb of the Cybermen. There's the Doctor, Victoria and Jamie. Everything goes completely wrong. The Cybermen wake up, they start attacking, and then you literally just go, oh, everything's just gone tits up. Now you've got a cyber controller, when it just goes, you will belong to us, you shall be like us. I love the whole kind of dramatic music and stuff. And I just absolutely love the whole Cybermen as well. When you got them coming out of their tombs, that was done really, really well done. I just love it when you just see that whole tombs and you got them climbing out of the tombs. I don't think Doctor Who would ever be available to do that ever again, because I think it's just one time it was done in the story and it is pulled off absolutely brilliantly. So yeah, second favourite, well, my favourite story for Patrick Troughton, The Tomb of the Cybermen. Now coming up to the third Doctor. So my favourite story for the third Doctor. Is it Spearhead from Space? Is it Inferno? You're most probably scratching your heads and thinking, is it Day of the Daleks? Is it the Claws of Axos? Is it the Daemons? Is it Frontier in Space? Is it Planet of the Daleks? Well, stop scratching your heads now. What my favourite story for the Jon Pertwee era is no other than Doctor Who: The Three Doctors. Yes, the one with the very first ever multi-Doctor story, and it's my all-time favourite for the third Doctor. Now, how can I tell you? You've got the third Doctor working where this guy named Mr. Olives has disappeared. You've got the Doctor and Unit, and then, of course, this whole kind of bubble creature from the antimatter universe breaks out. You've got the Doctor calling the Time Lords for help, so... But the Time Lords are really weak in the story because they can't help the Doctor, because they're having their own kind of power drained themselves by the black internet from an unknown source of the antimatter universe. And of course they decide to pop the second Doctor out of his bit of a time stream into his future time stream. So the Doctor meets his second incarnation, and they both argue until the first Doctor comes in and puts them in their place. Now this story introduces Omega, which was the creator, so the Time Lords can have the ability to time travel. I absolutely love it. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, the Doctor gets his freedom back, and he has, by giving a completely new dematerialization circuit, which means he can go off and carry on with his adventures in time and space. What a fantastic conclusion. It's a really fantastic story, and it's just absolutely brilliant for Jon Pertwee. So, yeah, my all-time favourite story for Jon Pertwee, The Three Doctors. So, for the fourth Doctor, now, it's such a hard kind of decision for me to say, because the fourth Doctor has got a load of episodes. I just love his completely run of the show. I mean, I love Genesis of the Daleks, Ark in Space, Terror of the Zygons, Pyramids of Mars, the Brain of Morbius, Talents of Wing Chiang, Robots of Death, Invasion of Time, Horror of Fan Rock. So many absolutely fantastic episodes for Tom Baker, even The City of Death. But unfortunately, I have to go with my very first episode I watched Tom Baker in as the fourth Doctor. Now, when I first watched this, it was on VHS with me dad growing up, and it's no other than Doctor Who: The Keeper of Track, and the second to last story of season 18. Now, I just absolutely love The Keeper of Track. It is a really kind of good story for the Doctor to be in. Very kind of like a mystery, like this whole plot around the Malka. And then you've got that whole collusion at the end where it's actually the Malka is the TARDIS, and inside that TARDIS is the Master, and now he's got the ability to try and gain the Source so he can extend his lives. Trying to take over the Doctor's body. He then is interrupted by Adric and Issa. The fourth Doctor escapes, and then he takes over Trimis's body. A new body at last. I just love The Keeper of Track, and I love the whole plot of it. I love that kind of really nasty woman in it. Trimis's wife, Cassia. Yeah, I absolutely do love that kind of whole plot with her, where she's like talking to the statue, and then for the very first time you just hear the Malcolm go, Sue. And then it turns out to be the Master. And that is literally in part 4. So you have a whole lot of build up in this story. I just really, really do love the Keeper of Traken. So yeah, Keeper of Traken is my favourite Tom Baker episode. Hate me if you want, but I have to say it's my own personal opinion, and I absolutely do love the Keeper of Traken. So, my favourite 5th Doctor story. Now, this one won't come to a shock because I have said this in my discussion of the 5th Doctor and the me kind of review on season 21. My favourite story of the 5th Doctor is The Caves of Androzani. I do have the special edition to this. I have left that in the box because you just need one DVD for this. So, The Caves of Androzani. What can I tell you about The Caves of Androzani? It is a really, really well done episode of Doctor Who. Absolutely well done. Peter Davison goes out in a bang in this one. So while taking Perry to the planet Androzani Minor, Doctor kind of gets involved in a kind of drug war. And the drug is actually spectrotoxemia. So the Doctor and Perry end up falling into a kind of plague of spectrotoxemia. They get infected and they're slowly dying from it. So the Doctor then gets kidnapped by Sirius Jack, the army, and of course these very, very nasty people that actually kidnap him, take him to the spaceship, and then Morgus finds that they've got the Doctor. So the Doctor escapes, and I just love how the Doctor goes. And like at the end of part 3, where you got that bird that goes, I'm trying to save my friend because I got her into this. So you see, I'm not going to let you stop me now, Doctor, please. And you got Davison just going. I really, really do love it. And of course, Davison, he is the first Doctor ever to sacrifice his life for a companion. The first ever Doctor to sacrifice his life. What does that tell you? Peter Davison really goes out with a bang, and you can tell the Doctor still feels guilty after watching Adric blow himself up, and the Doctor couldn't be there to save him. I just really love the case of Androzani, and I just love the whole kind of regeneration scene into Colin Baker. I just really, really love it, where you got like all the Doctor's companions in his regeneration. You got like Nyssa, Tegan, Chameleon, Tarlo, and then of course Adric, and then the Master going, "No, my dear Doctor, you must die. Die, Doctor. Die, Doctor." So yeah, my favourite 5th Doctor story is The Caves of Androzani. So, my favourite 6th Doctor story. What could it be? Is it the Attack of the Cybermen? Is it the Mark of the Irani, the 2 Doctors? Nope, it's not. This one I have to go by because it is really fantastic dark story of Doctor Who, and it is Vengeance on Varos. Start a new road down here. The Vengeance of Varos, and it is an absolutely amazing story. Now, how can I tell this? I just love it because it's literally set on the prison planet that's got on Cyton 7. The Doctor needs Cyton 7 to make the TARDIS work in this because the TARDIS is losing a bit of power. They come across this very, very kind of like slug creature named Zill, who does the laugh go. Again, I got really, really bad impressions of Zill. I just absolutely love it. You got the Governor who literally tortures himself and then he still survives. You got them about to kill someone, then the Doctor and Perry intervene. Then you got them all being hunted down, and it's just a really 2 episodes of 45 minutes, and it's done absolutely brilliantly, done so well. I just really do love it, and I love how the Doctor managed to like make 2 people fall into an acid bath, and he just stood there like it didn't bother him, and he goes, "Forgive me if I don't join you." I just love that scene. I just love this story so much, and it deserves to be my favourite Colin Baker episode. But to be honest with you, this was the first Colin Baker episode I ever watched growing up, so yeah, you can see why it's my favourite. So next up, the 7th Doctor. So, the 7th Doctor. What's my favourite story for the 7th Doctor? Is it the Happiness Patrol? Is it Remembrance of the Daleks? Well, honestly, no. My favourite favourite Sylvester McCoy episode of Doctor Who is none other than Doctor Who, The Curse of Fenric. Yeah. The Curse of Fenric. I just love The Curse of Fenric. I mean, it's a very, very kind of good horror story. I really, really do love it. Set with Russians in World War II, with a person like Nancy, and the whole plot of Fenric and the Doctor's got to give him like a chessboard game. These two women turning into like kind of like vampire girls. When you have the whole scene with the Heathers coming out of the water. Now, when I first watched this, I was like, are they sea devils? No, they're not the sea devils. Now, this was before I watched Doctor Who: The Sea Devils, because this was out way before in the DVD range of the Sea Devils. I didn't really watch the Sea Devils. I've read the book about them when I was in secondary school in Sundawn, but this was the very first time I actually sat down and watched a kind of monster creatures coming out of the water. And I just absolutely love it. The Heathers set in World War II. It's a very, very kind of good historian story in what they planned. Ace kind of saves her own mother, the mother who she hates. Yeah, and it's a kind of like based around Ace. When the Doctor stitches them up, goes, I knew it's your handiwork from the very beginning. She's nothing more than a cripple. I wouldn't be interested in her unless I could use her somehow. I just absolutely love how the Seventh Doctor stitches up, and the darkness of the Seventh Doctor really shows in this story. So my favourite story for Sylvester McCoy is The Curse of Fenric. So now we miss out on the Eighth Doctor, because I haven't heard all of his Big Finish stuff. As soon as I listen to all the Big Finish stuff, I can tell you what my favourite 8 and War Doctor episodes are. But unfortunately, I'm going to skip and go straight into 9 in the Doctor Who reboot of 2009. So my favourite my favourite episode of the Eccleston run is no other than Dalek from Series 1. Now this is Series 1 Volume 2 with 2 more episodes on it, but it's just there to make the point because it's got the Dalek. Now I absolutely love the Dalek. You got it being tortured. You're going to Mr. Van Statten's base. And then you have the whole talk about the Time War and the Doctor confronting the Daleks. The Dalek, and it shows you how much menacing and how much damage and how much murder one Dalek can do on its own. Yeah, you think the Daleks are a deadly race in the universe? Just have one on its own. See how really, really you last long against it. That long. I mean, all of Mr. Henry Van Statten's men end up dying. Yeah. So Eccleston in this is really good. Again, you see more of the darker side of the Doctor when he comes across the enemy he fought in the Time War. I just absolutely do love this story for Eccleston. This is where it really feels Eccleston becomes the Doctor. I love him in Rose. He's a lot better. I like Rose. The End of the World's not really okay. The Young Quite Dead and the 2-part with the Savine are okay, but this is where I feel like he becomes more of the Doctor, because he goes face to face with a Dalek. Yeah, so my favourite story for Eccleston is Dalek. So, my favourite episode for the 10th Doctor. Now, I have done my discussion. I have said that the 10th Doctor is my least favourite Doctor, but I still love a lot of these episodes because they are like 10 out of 10 and stuff for how you like a fair majority of them. But my favourite Eccleston episode, I said Eccleston then, didn't I? No, my favourite Tennant episode has got to be from Series 4. And it is the last ever episode of Series 4, which is Journey's End. So, I absolutely do love the Journey's End. The return of Davros with where we got the Doctor and Davros like having a full convention. The Doctor says to Davros, "You still scared of me, then?" I love the whole regeneration when the Doctor puts his hand into regeneration energy. And then you got the whole bit where you got Donna in the TARDIS, and the TARDIS is going blowing up because the Dalek Crucible took the TARDIS shields down, so it is a bit exploding. I do love that. I love how the Dalek, you got the insane Dalek Khan, the precious children of time, and one of them's going to die. I just love it when he goes, "This has always happened, Creator. I only helped, Doctor." I do love that. And then, of course, you have all of the companions from the Eccleston Tennant run in the story. You literally have Rose, Mickey, Jackie, Martha, Donna, Captain Jack, Sarah Jane Smith, K9, Mr. Smith, Torchwood, everything from the Russell T Davies era, like even the spin-offs like Torchwood and the Sarah Jane Adventures, have all come into this episode of Doctor Who to help the 10th Doctor battle against Davros and the Daleks. It's a really, really fantastic kind of crossover episode, and I just absolutely love it. It deserves to be my all-time favourite episode for the 10th Doctor. I am absolutely sorry, I do have to say that. It's my favourite episode for the 10th Doctor. So coming up, my favourite episode for the Matt Smith Doctor. So, my favourite episode of the Matt Smith era, aka the 11th Doctor's run. Now, this was a bit of a struggle for me because I love so many episodes of the 11th Doctor. The only ones I don't like are a lot of them from Series 6, but I love everything from Series 5 and Series 7. But I have to say, it's my favourite episode from Matt Smith. It's his very first ever Christmas special. A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol is my favourite Matt Smith episode. Yeah. What can I do? Of course, he has so many good episodes, but I just love the Christmas Carol because it's literally I do love the film, like the Muppets Christmas Carol or A Christmas Carol or some other like the Christmas stuff. But I always love this version of Doctor Who where it's not based around Scrooge, but you've got a Scrooge character named Kazran Sardik. The Doctor is trying to change him with his past, present, and future. You've got Abigail with the song "Silence Is All." The 11th Doctor in this plays like the ghost of Christmas past. You have Amy of the ghost of Christmas present, and then when you have the end, the Doctor, he goes, "What are you?" I went, "Are you going to show me my future?" I went, "I'm already showing it to you now." And then he literally reveals the young Kazran, and he literally scares the young one, and then he changes him. The Doctor's changed him so much. It's just a really, 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 really fantastic episode. Wow. It's my all-time favourite Christmas episode from the Christmas specials. I will, when it comes up to Christmas, I will do my ranking of the Christmas episodes because it doesn't feel right to kind of talk about them now. But even though this one is my favourite episode for Matt Smith. So, yeah, my favourite episode for Matt Smith, A Christmas Carol. So, my favourite episode of the 12th Doctor now. Ooh, this one was very, very tricky because I just love the whole lot of the Capaldi run. Even my second favourite Christmas special is in this run. But I had to go with this one because it is just an absolutely cracker of a finale for a Doctor. Kind of, and it's in the middle of like a trilogy sort of thing, and it is, if you haven't guessed it, it's The Doctor Falls from Series 10. Now, I absolutely love The Doctor Falls. It's just a really, really fantastic episode of Doctor Who. You got 3 different versions of the Cybermen. You've got 2 versions of the Master, the John Sim version of the Master, and Missy, you've got the Doctor being tied up by him and literally they hit him. You got Bill Potts being converted into a Cyberman. You've got Noldor, the Doctor's only friend at a point in this. You've got Bill, who's like fighting against the cyber emotions in this. So she's not fully converted into a Cyberman, but she's still like Bill, but in cyber form, which is a really, really fantastic sort of kind of twist on it. The whole thing with the 2 Masters when they get on and then they both kill each other. It's just a really, really kind of fantastic sort of master thing to do. I mean, Missy stabs the John Sim Master, and then he literally gets the full blast. She gets the full blast of the sonic laser, so she can't go and help the Doctor. So in the end, the Master kills the Master in a kind of a really, really, really fantastic kind of twist. And of course, at the end of it, when the Doctor's refusing to regenerate, and he goes into the first Doctor's run, where you encounter a different version of the first Doctor. Now, unfortunately, William Hartnell is dead, so he couldn't come back as the first Doctor. But David Bradley as the first Doctor is a really, really, really kind of a good carry-on point. And this episode literally continues like halfway through the 10th planet, with the first Doctor's on his way back to the TARDIS. So, and then you got Twice Upon a Time after this one. But I just absolutely love that when he goes, "Who is that?" "I'm the Doctor." "The Doctor?" "No, dear me, no. You see, you may be a Doctor, but I'm the Doctor. The original, you might say." So yeah, my favourite episode for Peter Capaldi, Dr. Falls. Now then, on to the current Doctor for Jodie Whittaker. I do love Series 12. There's a few episodes of Series 11 I do like. But my favourite episode has to come from this year in the New Year's Day special, Resolution of the Daleks. I absolutely do love Resolution of the Daleks. I love how it continues on from the Timeless Children, where the Doctor's like imprisoned by the Dadu, where you got the few little cameos of the Weeping Angel, the Pating, a Silence, a Weeping Angel, a Cigarettes, and a lot more of the Doctor's kind of past monster races you see in Doctor Who. And of course, when you got the fan working together, and the return of Captain Jack Harkness, played by the amazing John Barrowman. I just absolutely love it, especially when the Doctor calls the SAS Daleks to come and take care of the Robertson's Daleks, and you have that kind of like little bit of a war between the two of them, and then the Doctor literally sacrifices a TARDIS to kill the Daleks, which isn't really a kind of a Doctor thing to do, because the Doctor wouldn't just sacrifice a TARDIS. But I can't really complain about it, because I just love how the Doctor's got to get another race of Daleks to take care of another race of Daleks. I really, really do like the new design of the Bronze Daleks, where they haven't got plungers, they've got like little claw things. I just absolutely do love this episode, and for me, this took over my favourite story for Jodie, because my favourite one at one point was Association of the Sevens, and this kind of took over it, because I just think it's a lot better. Now, I've just watched the whole of Series 12 completely, from Spyfall Part 1 all the way down to Revolution of the Daleks. I have done like a list of how I've ranked them and other stuff, but this one's moved up a lot than I liked it. When I first watched it, I mean, literally after New Year's Day, I literally watched this 25 times in 1 week. And then since I got it on DVD, I've watched it over and over and over again. I just absolutely do love this episode. Yeah, I really, really do love it. So this is all my stories from the Doctor's eras. Now, unfortunately, I haven't done the 8th or the War Doctors, because the 8th Doctor's only got two TV appearances, which is the movie and the Night of the Doctor. So I don't really want to include them, because they both are good, and I want to listen to all his Big Finish stuff. Same with John Hurt. So thank you for watching this video. Please do like, subscribe, and share it to my channel, and let me know in the comments what is your favourite story from each of the Doctor's runs. Thank you for watching.